Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the second edition of this Black Canvas Grappling Save here on the channel. We are here for the Tag Mania Grand Prix number 1. In canon, it's the 7th Tag Mania event. However, this is the first Grand Prix. We added a Grand Prix, a Tag Team Grand Prix, a Round Robin, to the show to give it a little more flavor, to add more tournaments to Black Canvas Grappling in Mabuchi Furusawa's internal quest to slowly incorporate, not even fully transition Black Canvas Grappling into a more mainstream friendly product, just incorporating some of those elements like stables, like more tournaments, and more characters. So yeah, we have the finals for the Grand Prix. So without further ado, in terms of news, actually, there was no major news. Somebody cheated on somebody in TCW. I think, oh shit, somebody cheated on Freddie Huggins' sister, actually. Now that I think about it, I kind of do want to bring that up. Somebody cheated on Freddie Huggins' sister. Matt Hawking cheated on Freddie Huggins' sister with, I believe, Vita. Yes. Yep. So, other than that, no news really happened for us, let alone the entire world. So, yeah, let's get right into recapping the Tag Mania Grand Prix. On night, let me bring this up a little bit, because below here I have taken screenshots of all of both blocks in the Grand Prix, and as we go through the shows, I want to add what the scores were at the end of the shows. So yeah, so ignore the pre-show stuff. Pre-show is really not canon unless they're angles. Certain pre-show angles will be, canon's the wrong word, important is more like it. Like, Suki defeated Takanori Doi in the pre-show, who gives a shit? But, there is a post-show angle that I have that I want you to think of, like, this happened on a press conference or an interview kind of thing. And I might do that going forward anytime I don't have time to run an angle on the show itself. I'll do it on the pre-show or the post-show, and we'll just, imagine that that's like a press conference or a interview kind of angle. So yeah, so we open the show with Naozane Goto, despite his injury, defending the Challenger Series title against Quick Kick Nakao, I believe in Quick Kick Nakao's debut. I was gonna check. Yeah, so that was his debut, was a unsuccessful challenge against Naozane Goto, and then afterwards, M3 jumped Goto, leaving him injured in kayfabe, even though he was already injured for shoot. And Suki then challenges Goto for the Challenger Series Championship. This was just kind of done to, I was going to have Suki take on Goto for the Challenger Series title at the pay-per-view anyway, so having the angle be that M3 were the ones that injured Goto and not Suguru Imoto by accident, it's just kind of adding a few more layers onto the title match. So, opening the blue block, I believe it was, we have Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto picking up the victory over the Spine Breakers. So, by the way, all Grand Prix matches are 20-minute time limits, except for the playoffs. So there's 6, as you can see, there are 6 teams in each block. The two teams that end with the most points in each block advance to the playoffs, where the best team in the red block takes on the second best team in the blue block, and the best team in the blue takes on the second best team in the red. So that's what happens on this playoff show right here. And then the pay-per-view is the finals, where the winners of those 2 matches fight in the main event at the pay-per-view. So, yeah, for the playoffs matches, so the 3 following the group stage, there are no time limits. So, yeah, I want to get that out there before I forget. because, like I said in the first episode, all BCG matches have a 30-minute time limit unless otherwise stated. This is one of those times where all these matches will be stated that they do not. So, to open the Grand Prix, Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto get 2 points, beating the Spine Breakers. Opening the red block, no, I'm wrong, this is still the blue block. Tanyu Toshusai and Giant Brody defeat the Dependables. Blast Radius defeats Masashi Urogataya. Oh man, that was horrible. Masashi Urogataya and Yoshisada Matsuzawa. And they got 2 points. That opened the red block. Silent Killers went to a time limit draw with Raw Power. Explosive Weaponry defeated Team Taku. And Showtime and Shingen defeated the Wild Ones. I didn't even fully go through these blocks, did I? Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. Usually, when I record these videos, I do it right after I finish the final tour date, so it's still fresh in my mind. That was not the case. I had to wait a week. I didn't have time at fucking all until right now to do this. So, but yeah, as you can see, all these teams are established aside from Showtime and Shingen, which is just Showtime, Mabuchi Furusawa, and Shingen Miyazaki, and the team of Matsuzawa and Urogataya, which is a team that I used in the trial save, and it worked out pretty good. So, yeah, they'll get a team name later on in the tournament, but for now, they're just 2 singles that are teaming up. And then in the blue block, same thing. We have 4 established teams. Aside from the power duo of Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto, and the mid-card power duo of Giant Brody and Tanyu Toshusai. I wanted the blocks to, showcase that we have an established tag division, while also throwing in a couple of, you can see singles guys team up and maybe even succeed in the Grand Prix. So I went with a nice ratio of 4 and 2 for each block in terms of 4 established teams and 2 singles teaming up. So that was night 1. Going on to night 2, we have opening the show. The Dependables went to a no contest with the Spine Breakers. That was supposed to be a time limit draw. I fucked up and I forgot to put time limit finish. So just ignore that. Pretend that it was a time limit draw. That's what we're going to go with. We'll just say how long did the match go. The match went 16 minutes over 20. Let's just say the ref tried calling for the bell at 20 minutes, and they just kept fighting for 16 seconds. They were mad at each other. Following that, Blast Radius picked up 2 points against Raw Power. The Wild Ones defeated Masashi and Yoshisada. Showtime and Shingen defeated the Silent Killers, and then after the match, Raw Power were not too happy that they went to a time limit draw with the Silent Killers, either feeling like they should be better than these guys, or that maybe if they were given a few more minutes, they would have had them. Who knows, but they got their boy, Suguru Imoto, to help jump the Silent Killers on a 3-on-1 attack following the match. Giant Brody and Tanyu Toshusai went to a time limit draw with Team Taku, both teams getting 1 point. Following the match, Giant Brody is very mad, and he goes on a rampage. This will happen a few times, and it is important for reasons you will see later. And then in the main event, Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi defeated Explosive Weaponry, which is, I don't think I've previously stated, Explosive Weaponry is the team of Bunraku Kentori and Dynamite Narahashi. Yeah, I said that, and I'm realizing, is there another team that I named and forgot to mention because I'm a little scatterbrained? No, there's not. Okay. So yeah, that's night 2. So far on the red block, Showtime and Shingen are tied with Blast Radius. Both teams have 2 wins. And in the blue block, Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto both are the only team with 2 wins and 0 draws. Everyone else, even if they're undefeated, they are still they've still drawed. So I should mention Brody and Toshusai are in second place. That is important because the playoffs are the top 2 teams. So night 3, we have opening the show, explosive weaponry, defeating the Dependables, getting 2 points. Giant Brody and Tanitoshi Sai defeating the Spinebreakers, getting 2 points. In a filler match, not a filler match, in a, I guess, break match from the... I just fucking glossed it. I didn't even realize. My brain just skipped. Raw Power going to a time limit draw with Masashi and Yoshisada. So that's another draw for Raw Power. Really kind of showing, not that they're like a great team yet, per se. Like, they're not getting the wins, but they can hang with some of BCG's top tag teams, top singles guys, just to kind of give them the small rub they're going to get in this tournament, because right now it is not looking like they're going to win the thing or even advance. They still can, it's just not looking like it right now. But yeah, in the intermission match, I guess I'll call it, because it's an intermission. My nose is now insanely itchy. It's an intermission from the tournament matches. We have Tornado Nagai and the tag champs defeating Takanori Yoi, Iki, and Kubo. And the reason this is important is because following the match, the American Cobras jump the tag team champions, hold their titles up. As you've noticed, the tag team champions are not in the Grand Prix because, as again, forgot to mention, the winners of the tournament immediately at the next pay-per-view are guaranteed a World Tag Team title match. No matter who the champions are going into that show, that title match is theirs. So, yes, the tag champs were then jumped by the American Cobras, who are two teams that are not in the tournament. The Cobras not being in the tournament, well, the tag champs not being in it because they're the tag champs. The Cobras not being in the tournament because they had prior booking commitments, so they couldn't make all the tour dates. So the Cobras then jump the tag champs and hold their titles up. And after that, the Wild Ones get 2 points after defeating the Silent Killers. Okamoto and Funakoshi defeated Team Taku, getting 2 points. And then in the main event, it was the bout to determine the leadership of the block so far. Both teams were tied at 4 apiece, and then they go to a time limit draw, so we still don't know who is truly leading the red block, as Blast Radius and Showtime and Shingen both draw. And now after night 3, they are still tied for first, this time with 5 points, but the Wild Ones are not far behind with 4 points. As for the blue block, the team of Funakoshi, the power team, the favorites, despite not being a team, they are the favorites to win this tournament, are Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto, leading the blue block, so far undefeated with 6 points. And in second place with 5 points, we have Giant Brody and Tanitoshi Sai. But then, of course, Explosive Weaponry, not far behind, as they have 4 points, and I don't believe have faced Brody and Toshu Sai just yet. So that might be a deciding matchup in the future. Night 4, we have opening the show, Showtime and Shingen defeating Masashi and Yoshisada, getting 2 points. Team Taku defeating the Dependables, picking up their first win of the tournament so far. And we have 2 intermission matches. First being Washi Tanaka defeating a Young Lion. And following the match, Tornado Nagai calls Washi Tanaka a fraud. Tornado Nagai, he was a pretty big name in terms of popularity on the independent scene. He's no household name, but he's a little less over than Washi Tanaka, and he's like, where the fuck is my royal homecoming? Washi Tanaka got one. You know why? It's because BCG are scared that I'm going to expose them for paying out the money for the fraud that Washi Tanaka is, and he challenges him to a match at the pay-per-view to prove that Washi Tanaka was getting special treatment. So it's not just the BCG faithful that, I guess that's the audience, not the BCG, the already established BCG stars that were not happy with Washi Tanaka's treatment. It's also other indie signings were not happy that they were not given the same treatment. So Washi Tanaka will be opening the show against Tornado Nagai at the pay-per-view tonight. Continuing with the tournament, the Wild Ones defeated Raw Power, getting 2 points. Explosive Weaponry defeated the Spine Breakers, getting 2 points. And then as our second intermission match, the American Cobras defeated Ikki and Kubo. And the tag champions, Inijiro and Noritoshi, pull a page out of the American Cobras book and jump them as revenge. So the idea for this feud was that the American Cobras were kind of trying to do like a sports entertainment build, pull some Western to throw the tag champs off, but the tag champs then come right back and do those post-match brawls, pull apart shit to show the Cobras that they are not phased, and hopefully that will build some intrigue into the tag team title match that will be happening at the pay-per-view tonight. And I don't know if it was made official on this show or the last show, just tag title match. That's what's going to happen. Continuing on in the tournament, Blast Radius defeats the Silent Killers, getting 2 points. And then in a 70 rated match, Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi defeat the second leading team in the tournament at that time, Giant Brody and Tanya Toshusai, getting themselves 2 points. In following night 4, Showtime and Shingen and Blast Radius are still in the lead of the red block, tied at 7 apiece, while the Wild Ones are only behind by 1 point. So going into the final night, Showtime and Shingen will be taking on the team of Raw Power, but also that night, the Wild Ones will be taking on Blast Radius. Now, this is a do-or-die match for the Wild Ones. Blast Radius have essentially, as long as they don't lose, Blast Radius are in the playoffs. If the Wild Ones lose this match, they are out. If the Wild Ones draw this match, they are also out. See, if the Wild Ones draw, then the tiebreaker would go to... So if the Wild Ones draw and Showtime and Shingen lose, they would both be stuck at 7 points, while Blast Radius would have 8. The tiebreaker being, well, when those two teams that tied faced off, who won? That would be Showtime and Shingen. So Showtime and Shingen would win that tiebreaker. Now, in the event that the Wild Ones win, and then Showtime and Shingen tie, they have to lose to the Raw Power, Blast Radius and Showtime and Shingen would then have to go to a sudden death play-in match, I guess, just a sudden death match, because they drew in the tournament and then tied for points. So the way that would work is that opening the playoffs, the very first match would be a no time limit tag team match between Showtime and Shingen and Blast Radius to see who would go on later in the night to face the Wild Ones. Whether that actually happens or not is irrelevant. I want to establish that now, so if I do end up pulling that card in future tournaments, there you go. Because this will be the base, not just for this tournament, but also the Maeda Grand Prix. And if I decide to add like a Trios Grand Prix or any, I don't have any plans for that. But if I do, that's going to be our base for BCG. I might change it once we get to a company like Boathog or Pride, but for BCG, that's what we're going to go with. And then as for the blue block, Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto have clinched their victory have clinched a spot in the playoffs. So their match against the Dependables is irrelevant. This is just to see if they will go perfect or not. I guess it will determine if Explosive Weaponry win. And then no, because then they would still get the first seed. So this is just to see if they go perfect or not. However, this next night also has big standings for the blue block, as Explosive Weaponry and Brody and Toshusai are facing off. So this is do or die for Tanyu and Brody, as if they even tie, they're out. Brody and Toshusai need a win to advance to the playoffs. Anything short of that is an elimination. So, going into night 5, we have opening the show, what do you know, the Wild Ones go to a time limit draw with Blast Radius, which means despite not even losing tonight, the Wild Ones are eliminated from the tournament, and Blast Radius will be advancing to the playoffs. And then following the match, the Wild Ones, they take their defeat on the chin, but they call out Blast Radius and they say, tonight was a close call, but next time on a pay-per-view, we're both available. Whether you lose in the playoffs or not, whether it's this pay-per-view, the next pay-per-view, or a pay-per-view 11 months from now, next one we are both open. We want a rematch. We want to settle the score with the normal 30-minute time limit. So just a match, not even necessarily happening on tonight's pay-per-view, just setting up a future match that the fans will probably eat up. Following that, Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi defeat the Dependables, meaning they did go perfect in the Grand Prix, obviously getting the first seed. Following that, this is the official name that I have given for Masashi and Yoshisada. I gave them the name Intensity, all caps. It's what I ran with in the trial save. I think it fits both their gimmicks really well, both their renders really well. They both look like just very angry, intense guys, so Intensity is what I went with. In the intermission match, we had the two feuds teaming up, whereas Washi Tanaka and the tag champs defeated Tornado Nagai and the American Cobras, just as an intermission from the tournament. Team Taku defeat the Spine Breakers, getting themselves... They ended the tournament with 5 points, while, as we saw, they were never really in the running for even coming in second. They didn't finish that bad. They just had a bad opening to the tournament. Showtime and Shingen defeated Raw Power, so there will be no, elimination qualifier. I know I went on that full ramble of explanation, and it's like, well, now he can't pull back. He just spent all that time explaining. Like I said, I just wanted to get that all out there in the event that I decide to use that plot thread in a future tournament. I like to establish things before I do them so that it's not obvious when I'm going to do them. So following the match, following Raw Power's defeat, Sofu Ozawa, the man that Raw Power turned on at the last pay-per-view, aligns himself with the Silent Killers to get some revenge on the next for jumping them, and we will have a 3v3 at the pay-per-view to settle the score. And then in our main event, Giant Brody and Tanya Toshusai go to a time limit draw with explosive weaponry, the same thing that happened to the poor Wild Ones earlier. They went the distance, they didn't even take the loss, but as a result, they are eliminated from the tournament. And once again, after a draw, Giant Brody absolutely loses his shit going following the match. So the playoffs are this. We have Showtime and Shingen taking on explosive weaponry, and Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi taking on Blast Radius in the playoffs. So on the playoffs, we open the show with Showtime and Shingen. They advance to the finals. They will take on... they will challenge for the tournament crown against the winners of the main event. They have won the red block and advanced to the finals. Following the match, Tanya Toshusai comes out to mock Tori and challenges him for a match at the pay-per-view. He's like, you could not put me away, and I don't think you can. And I want to prove that. I want to prove that at the pay-per-view in a singles match. That's essentially what he says. We have Roku Satomura and Intensity defeating some young boys. Silent Killers defeating some young boys in a pure grudge match just to see how it would do. I had Suguru Imoto defeat Sofu Ozawa. Did not do very well. In a 4v4, Giant Brody, Tanya Toshusai, and the American Cobras defeat Team Taku and the Tag Champs. So the American Cobras do get a victory over the Tag Champs going into the pay-per-view. And following the match, Dynamite Narahashi comes out. And he says, well, I heard what Tanya said. earlier about settling the tie. And Giant Brody, I noticed you had a choice reaction to your 2 ties. So I want the chance to redeem myself. I'm sure Team Taku would like the chance to redeem themselves. How about at the pay-per-view, to get myself on the card, we have a 3-way to determine who truly is the best between these 3 teams. Me versus Giant Brody versus either of the Takus, which will end up being the younger one, Yoshi Nakataku. So that is another match set for the pay-per-view. And then in our main event, Funakoshi and Razan Okamoto stay undefeated as they take out Blast Radius. This match goes 22-20. This match went 21-08, showing that these teams were truly the best and needed to not have time limits. So we end the show with a massive Furusawa and Shingen facing off with Funakoshi and Razan. These two had singles matches at the last pay-per-view. These 2 had singles matches at the last pay-per-view. And it's a true, we don't really mention it, but huge fans of Puroresu in the Cornellverse do realize this is a true CGC versus BCG match we're going to get at the pay-per-view. And then following the show, we have a press conference where they're like, you know what, the Wild Ones made the challenge. After losing, we're free. Wild Ones. I don't know if you intended to have this blow-off match happen so soon, but it's happening because we're both free. And at the pay-per-view, we're going to show you that we are the better team. And boom, that was a lot of recapping, a lot of scatterbraining. I'm very sorry. Like I said, I'm not usually forced to take, a massive break in between running shows and recording. So I was a little off out there. So let me run down the card once again real quick in no particular order. I guess alphabetically, that's how they organize this. So we have to settle the score of the ties that Giant Brody faced during the Grand Prix. Giant Brody will take on both Dynamite Narahashi and Yoshi Nakataku in a triple threat match. Of course, our main event for the first ever Grand Prix and a guaranteed shot for the tag titles at the next pay-per-view. Showtime and Shingen take on the power team of Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi. Suki, I'm sure you guys forgot about it because Goto has been injured. Suki challenges for the Challenger Series Championship. Tanyu Toshusai takes on Bunraku and Tori. Tanyu claims that Tori can't get the job done. He couldn't do it in the tournament, and he won't do it in a singles match. BCG World Tag Team Championships, the American Cobras challenge our current tag champs Miura and Yoshizawa. The next take on Silent Killers and Sofu Ozawa. The Raw Power jumping Silent Killers following their tie in the Grand Prix. And then Sofu Ozawa later on making his return following his hellacious beatdown at the hands of Raw Power to help out the Silent Killers and get this trios match set for the pay-per-view. The Wild Ones and Blast Radius here to settle their score in a 30-minute time limit match. And then opening our show, Tornado Nagai taking on Washi Tanaka to see if the hype for Washi Tanaka is all that or not. Alright, without any further ado, I have booking analysis. Goto's working with an injury. That's all that's going on. Let's start the show in a match that goes 15 minutes and 4 seconds. Decent match. Washi Tanaka proves that he is all that, tonight at least, and picks up the victory against Tornado Nagai in 15:04. And while they don't make huge mention of it yet, the commentators do note that Washi Tanaka, while he hasn't had a great deal of matches in BCG so far, he has yet to lose one. Whether it's a tag or a singles, Washi Tanaka has yet to lose a match. 59 rated match. And following that, we have the three-way, the next take on Sofu Ozawa and Silent Killers. In a decent match, Ichiro, Koyo, and Suguru do defeat Sofu and the Silent Killers when Suguru pins Sofu Ozawa with the dangerous Brain Buster. Silent Killers had the best performance tonight. However, they are just burdened with me not having any ideas what I could do with their characters other than kind of being hired guns, and I don't really have anyone that needs that right now. So I'm sorry, Silent Killers. Thank you for all the work you've done so far, but right now you're going to be jobbing to some recently graduated young boys that I am very high on right now. And the match gets a 47. Good shit. And in a match that I'm sure you all knew the winner was going to be, as I've openly shit on Goto and his title reign, and about that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Suki defeats Naozen Goto in 10-14 with a Mountain Suki, claiming the Challenger Series Championship. And I do want to mention, I do have a correction to make. I have been doing a little more research on the lore of Suki, and I don't know if I just forgot or never knew, but when I was giving the backstory of all of M3, I'm like, Blast was at the top of the mountain in BCG, but he has slowly trickled down. Now he wants to work his way up. Rokumon started as a young boy in BCG, and he is ready to take that next step. And I did say that Suki was in CGC, but he never made it to the top of the mountain. I was completely wrong. The story, what I think happened was I forgot, because I had the same story when I originally did M3 in the trial save, but the story is not that Suki never made it to the top of the mountain, as he is a 2-time former GCG World Heavyweight Championship. The problem is, he made it to the top of the mountain of GCG, but the top of BCG's mountain is just a little bit higher than CGC's was at the time. So while he was at the top of a different company, that did not translate immediately over into the main event scene of Black Canvas Grappling. So he needs to now reprove himself in BCG. I know that was not important, but I like to have my little details checked off if I fuck up. So there you go. Suki has claimed the Challenger Series Championship from Naozen Goto and will hopefully have a much better run with the title than Goto would have. Goto may reclaim it at some point, because like I said, Goto develops fairly quickly if you let him work. His stamina improves, or it should improve, but right now, in the current state Goto is in, he is not ready for the Challenger Series Championship. Match gets a 56, and following the match, Naozen Goto is getting beaten down by M3 when he is saved by the Wild Ones. Now, this could just be the Wild Ones like, hey, we're facing these two guys, now could be a good time to jump them and thwart their plans and throw them off their game. Or maybe there just might be a friendship between Goto and the Wild Ones that we don't know about yet, that they haven't made public. So, we'll see where this goes. So, 67 for that. Following the match is the three-way between Brody, Dynamite, and Yoshinaka Taku. And in a bout that had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd, Yoshinaka Taku defeats both Giant Brody and Dynamite Narahashi when Taku pinned Narahashi with a full Nelson bomb. Yoshinaka Taku carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. So yeah, 66 for that. Following the match, everyone's expecting Giant Brody to lose his shit, but he doesn't. He keeps it in, and he just looks at Taku and he says, I will get my win back, or something. I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you guys, I kind of forgot what this angle was supposed to be. Like I said, I booked the show out, and then I had to attend to something, so I had a plan. I think that was the plan. I think we're just building to a Taku versus Brody match, either at the next pay-per-view or something. But, yeah, this was just, Giant Brody's going to get his win back. Following the match, we have the Tag Team Championship, and holy fucking shit, the Cobras are amazing. Wow. They had a better performance than the Tag Champs. Yeah, this is TagMania, guys. These are the tag teams. The tag division is thriving. About that had good wrestling and decent reaction. The Tag Champs do retain from the American Cobras in 1801. Inajiro pinned Marvel Malloy with a Yoshizawa bomb. This was defense number 4 of the World Tag titles. So it's looking like, unless we have a title change on the tour show, which it's very unlikely we will even have a title match on the tour show. Now that I've said it, I might have spoken it into existence. It is looking like Miura and Yoshizawa will take on whoever wins the Tag Mania Grand Prix. So yeah, they just kind of call their shot. That was the post-show match. The angle was that they're like, it doesn't matter if it's Funakoshi, Razan, Furusawa, Shingen and Funakoshi, Furusawa and Okamoto. It doesn't matter who walks out of the Tag Mania Grand Prix, because at the end of the next pay-per-view, we will still be your tag team champions. 45 for the angle. And then we get the Wild Ones versus Blast Radius. I was kind of hoping this would steal the show. It did not, but they did pretty good. They almost got the 70. Speaking of 70s, I've just realized no one's gotten one yet. And remember, that's how I give out praise, is I compliment the people that do the best. And so far, nobody's gotten a 70. Finley was close there, but in the end, the Blast Radius hit the range attack, pinned the Wild Ones in 1947, and Animal Harker was the weak link. And following the match, Blast Radius continued to beat down on Animal Harker and Big Bruiser Finley. And this time, Naozane Goto does make the save. Suki is there. Goto makes the save. Again, was this just like Goto returning the favor, or do these three men have some sort of backstage alliance that we don't know about, or that's been formed tonight? We will have to find out in the future. Suki enjoyed having the freedom to go off script. Next match, Bunraku Tori and Tanyu Toshusai. This steals the show. Tori right now having the best performance of the night with an 80-fucking-5, Tori. An 85. Yeah, so if the playoff show in terms of building matches seemed a little rushed, it's because it was. That was my only real show to build some of these matches because the guys were in the tournament. Yeah, I wanted Tori in a singles match because clearly I didn't plan to have him win the Tag Mania Grand Prix. I almost had him and Dynamite go to the finals, but I thought Brody versus Toshusai would be really good, so I fucking was like, let's go with it, and I was right. Bunraku Tori defeats Tanyu Toshusai in 24-22 with the spinning forearm smash. And following the match, Bunraku Tori, he doesn't help Toshusai to his feet. However, he does get on his he gets into like a crouching position with the microphone. He says, Tanyu, you're not better than me. Stop thinking that you are. But you're far, far from a joke. You pushed me to a limit I didn't think you had in you. But you do have to remember where your place is. And it is underneath me. And he throws the microphone down. 60 rated match. It is now time, I think. I have to think about it. I think it is time for the Tag Mania Grand Prix finals. And in the end, it is Showtime and Shingen winning the Tag Mania Grand Prix. The match goes 30 minutes and 21 seconds, so it goes over 30 minutes. Showtime and Funakoshi need those extra minutes because they are so equally matched. But in the end, the team of Showtime and Shingen, with their prior experience, not just both being in GCG, but as a team in GCG, shows up here tonight as they defeat the team. Even though it was a power team, the inexperience of a team was the downfall for the power duo of Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi, as Funakoshi was submitted at the hands of Mabuchi Furusawa with the Furusawa armbar. Shingo Miyazaki was the weak link. However, Funakoshi with a fucking 86 tonight. I gotta write that down, and I can't give myself, Furusawa, any praise. So Razan, you had the fourth best performance of the night, but you will get the third tier of praise. Good shit from everybody involved. Bunraku and Tori just like, hey guys, I'm the fucking greatest of all time. Sorry you didn't know that. But following the match, Furusawa and Shingen get their celebration, and Showtime goes off. He's like, you know what? Fuck being humble. We stole the goddamn show tonight. We showed everybody what we're all about. Showtime, Shingen, we're taking over BCG, because after the next pay-per-view, when I take those tag team titles, next show, I'm getting my rematch, Funakoshi. I'm going to win the tag titles, and then at the next pay-per-view, I'm going to get my rematch for that world title, and I'm going to take that shit from you too. I hope you all enjoy seeing my face, because I'm going to be in the fucking main event a lot more, baby. Boom, 70 rated angle, and the show gets a 74. Fucking good shit from the Big Four here tonight. The Big Four, by the way, I'm calling those are my 4 major stars. The Big Four of Bunraku and Tori, Funakoshi, Razan Okamoto, and me, Showtime. And I think calling them the Big Four throughout this whole save will be a pretty accurate thing to do, as I am the user character, so Funakoshi is the user character, so he's not going anywhere. And then Bunraku and Tori, Razan Okamoto, and Funakoshi are all loyal to BCG, so they're not going anywhere. So it looks like the Big fucking Four are here to stay. Who gives a fuck about the 4 pillars of heaven when you got the Black Canvas Big Four, baby? Fuck them all up. Alright, time to make the speech. Funakoshi, performance of the night. Bunraku and Tori with the match of the night. And then Razan Okamoto also with a performance of the night. Make the speech. Okamoto was happy. I'm happy with you, buddy. Keep it fucking coming, baby. Keep it fucking coming. Decimalo, suck my balls. I'm getting a little too into being Funakoshi right now. Not Funakoshi. Oh, sorry. We gotta steal you. Yeah, damn. Hold on. Fuck! Dude, fuck! Sometimes in these saves, Burning Hammer just lets some top talent just go sometimes. I was really fucking hoping. I would pay $2,000 a show. Don't fucking get me wrong. Show was awesome. I'm not surprised. So yeah, with that, new Challenger Series champion. Sorry, Nozengoto. I tried to give you a couple extra defenses that you didn't need, but it's just not your time. The Tag Mania Grand Prix, I made little rings for him. That's what Furusawa and Shingo Miyazaki got. I hope that didn't hurt Funakoshi's pop too much. Okay, he dropped 1 point. That's not bad at all. I was hoping this would help Furusawa a little more, but I guess not. It might have hurt Razan. It did. He lost a point too, so it probably went to Shingen, if anything. Oh yeah, it went to Shingen, because we're Kansai, right? So, oh yeah, he went up, baby. He went up. Is there anyone else I would... He's still only a well-known. That's crazy to me. Oh, my 8. I'm like, fuck, there's 5 of them now. No. I just want to real quick if I notice any major pop changes between any of my stars before I end the episode. That looks a little higher than usual. Okay, around it was. So yeah, oh, Suki at a 47. That didn't change at all. He's just moving up in the rankings and fucking tricking me, I guess. So yeah, no real major pop changes for anyone yet. Hopefully, as we move forward, did he go down in pop from winning? No. Okay, I'm hallucinating now. I do want to check on the American Cobras. They are gaining. Nope, no, not fast. I was gonna say, dude, my brain is just like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a lot more than they had, and it's 1 point. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Black Canvas Save. Again, sorry if it's a little scatterbrain. Like I've said a million times, I'm not used to booking Japan companies, so the format is a little weird and different to what I'm used to. But I hope you all enjoyed anyway, and I hope you all come back for our next pay-per-view, which is Fighting Spirit, where we will see the... right now, we know we will see Inujiro Yoshizawa and Naruto Shimura take on the team of Mabuchi Furusawa and Shingen Miyazaki for the World Tag Team titles. Other than that, I don't remember if we have anything guaranteed. But, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you're all coming back for our third pay-per-view of the Save.